Panda game 1 because this is the one that I didn't crash through. Alright, so yeah, and okay. As soon as I see the ship composition, I suddenly remember how this game goes. Delta 9 is a sideline Leviathan. Black Magic is a Raven with Imp. Boomer is a Plague Overlord. Alpha is a Range Missile. Deville is Range Rocket. And Silver Wolf is a sideline Leviathan. So it's LLFBRO.
I I start down from the bottom. There's Loco, the Leviathan, starting with constant mutation and speed. There is Seronia on the battle cruiser. His name's actually Serator on the European server. There is Shorty, the Overlord with Plague. There is Wolfeyes, the frigate with range. I clicked on the Ravens. There is Barry Holes, a Raven with EMP. There's Wolfeyes, the frigate with one missile. And Kraken, the destroyer, 5 Gatlings on the top lane. Well, they're fighting. Boomer already has thrown his Plague, hit the frigate. Oh, he throws his second Plague, hits the battle cruiser. He tried to hit 2 ships, but sadly only one. Tried to spread out and get away from the Plague.
Yeah, so the one thing here is that Delta 9 is the one who's replacing Curtis, but despite that, I kind of don't feel like Delta 9 was the weak link in this team. Like they basically just had to pull him in at the last moment because otherwise they were either going to do a 5 vs 5 and INSANELogic really didn't want to do a 5 vs 5 because it's not, that's not the finals match they worked for.
If I look at Delta 9's Leviathan, right now, not right now. The destroyer Kraken is pushed into the middle. I think Delta 9 has said nothing. That way they could push the middle very hard. Now the whole middle is damaged very hard, and they have to go back and stay on fighting. Oh no, the Overlord and the frigate stacks for a Plague. Bad mistake. That was what I was saying before, is that Delta 9 seems not to know how to play the Leviathan versus a destroyer. Leviathan as a sideline ship has to be played very different depending on the ship that you're standing against. If you play against carrier, you want to upgrade your tentacles. If you're staying against a destroyer, you want to get some range and some speed. You can get away from him and you can kite him with your missiles, your bile swarm.
Yeah, so he's kind of playing a little bit too much just
Tentacles, yes, he bought level 6 tentacles. That's very much minerals. Now got 1.6 speed, but the destroyer is the same speed. So if he gets him with his level 5 Gatlings, he's hurting him very bad. Destroyer is very tanky, so you can't shake him off that easy. You have to slowly take him down with your bile swarm. Then when he is yellow, then he can't push you anymore. But till that moment, you always just run away from him, else it's might die.
So Leviathan versus Leviathan, you would prefer the armor?
Actually, I like doing damage, and then I still go range and bile swarm. It's against carrier when you want to go some armor and some tents, but armor later. First tentacles. First tentacles. And frigate, you want speed.
Yeah, I know Silverwolf went 2 Locusts versus Loco's 5 armor, 5 tentacle. really sure whether it's working out. Silver, they both have rapid regen, but Loco also has intercept. So I guess the intercept is so that he can dive into the mid if he sees a juicy target.
Be very good to get intercept. Then you can just run away. If you can get frenzy early on, intercept is actually a very valid thing. He can cut in on the frig and might kill it. Because tentacles do damage. Just help his team. He can run away from nukes. Except, I don't know. Maybe it's also just his play style. He likes to play with intercept. I mean, I see this first time from him getting intercept on first upgrade. Maybe it was just a misclick. Maybe he wanted to buy corruption. I don't know.
Now Silverwolf went corruption, although he doesn't have any Biostorm, so it's still just base level corruption. Delta
and Silverwolf both have the same range on Bioswarm. Both have no Bioswarm upgrades.
Somehow Loco has ended up with just twice the farm, almost, of Silverwolf. Is that just because the blue team's mid has tended to push more, so he can extend a little bit further?
Delta 9 is pushed very hard on top. He activates Frenzy just to get away from that destroyer. Already level 210 armor. The armor of the destroyer, the armor upgrades of the destroyer actually counter very much damage from your tentacles.
And so, do you usually, Frenzy versus Rapid Regeneration at this stage of the game?
No, you have to get rapid regeneration as possible on Leviathan.
Especially because Moby Dick, the Dreadnought, does have explosive charge, so he's going to be able to do 1700 to Delta.
Exactly. You can't go near the destroyer with the Leviathan early game. Like the first 20 minutes, you just stay away from him. But you don't stay away from him really far. You try to kite him. You try to apply your damage from your Bioswarm. Those the Gatlings of the destroyer, they have a maximum range of 8. And after you buying the range upgrade for 100, you have a range of 9. So you can actually kite him very easily. But Moby Dick doesn't have defensive, how's it called, protective field on his destroyer. So that's why it seems like the Levy is doing some damage right now. As soon as he gets that and he activates it, then the Leviathan has to wait even longer and upgrade way more damage before he can actually damage the destroyer.
Yeah, so I mean, they're going to get some good farm now, but they can't stay here exactly very safely, even with the 2 Leviathans.
Battleloser got lockdown. He has lockdown and scan, 450 energy, level 2 lasers, missiles, even tactical fighters for some reason. He wants to farm. And Wolfeyes has level 10 missiles with quick reload and afterburners. And even 1.8 speed, so he can catch up with any ship of the enemy team.
Yeah, 1.8 speed with afterburner seems like pretty good for kiting.
Yeah. Also, I think he got the afterburners to be a little safer against those Leviathans. Activate Frenzy and then try to go for him. Shorty already has Psy Blast. It's not that high damage. It only does 1,300 against normal targets and more damage against Zerg targets. Kraken now has Protective Field or 100 minerals upgrade. So now if he activates it, the Leviathan can't do much. He has to throw his Corruption and activate Frenzy to actually damage him. Here we could have seen how Wolfeyes is trying to avoid the Frenzied Leviathan. He does nearly 1,000 damage with one single salvo of his missiles, and he has 2 of them instant quick reload.
Oh yeah, this is where
also in
Boomer
trouble.
comes in, but he's going to be okay. Really looked like that was a very dangerous situation for Boomer right there.
There, the farm from Delta 9 and Silver Wolf, both those sideline ships to Loco and Moby Dick. See that they're actually not that. Loco has the highest farm. He has over 200 more than Delta 9 with 400.
Yeah, Loco is kind of rotated from the bottom, and so now Moby is staying more toward the mid. Shorty is getting the side lane farm on the bottom, and Loco is on the top now, so both Leviathans are now coming out the bottom.
Yeah, that's a common tactic when you get your protected field upgrades on the destroyer and get a specific amount of farm, then you go to the middle and help in the middle to push, and then you put another ship on the side lane. Like the Overlord, which is also very good late game.
And so yeah, at this point, the
It's so funny to watch it. I'm sorry I have to interrupt it, but it's really funny to watch the Frenzied Destroyer, the Frenzied Leviathan running around, because right now he is sort of uncontrollable because he's so fast. You like click somewhere and you're already there. Not like Star Battle. It's not like the usual Star Battle. When you click, then you have to wait. It takes some time before you go. You're actually there.
especially with the intercept, yeah, you just, hello, I am a Leviathan. I am giving you the tentacles. My tentacles want to be friends with you.
Red team is trying to catch up on farm. They're trying to stay here as long as possible. They even activated scan, so they know there is no walk trade.
Yeah, so they can keep it within 300 here. This is, this is still a game at this point, yeah. Like they're down a little bit, but they haven't lost any ships, and they are within a recoverable amount of being down on farm. It's like blue team has felt like they're dominating a lot, but that domination has left them with a lead, but not a insurmountable lead, in my mind.
Problem is that local, the side lane or the one side lane OV has a huge farm advantage over the other side lane OVs.
Levies, yeah.
Side lane levies, yes. What did I say? I said side lane OVs. Oh.
Yeah, side lane OVs.
Oh, he's gonna take this nuke, isn't he? Yeah. Was a nice nuke.
Local loves to eat nukes. The Villa landed that nuke. It was a good nuke.
He was nearly full health, so wasn't that much damage to him. Boomer's Psyblast is too low to actually damage him. He would fire it like 17 times to kill him.
Yeah, Shorty's up to 2,000 damage on his side blast. And so, yeah, this is a really dangerous situation. Blackout is off, but Davila is really low. Alpha is out of shields, and both of the Leviathans are at half life, so even though the blackout was there, this is still very dangerous for the orange team. So one thing to note is that Shorty is actually at 1.92 speed on his Overlord. And so Alpha is at...
speed upgrade is that? It's like for 200?
Yeah, that's an expensive speed upgrade for an Overlord. And so Alpha was at 0.71 speed. So Shorty kind of could get around and just come up and stay on him and get on him and get the side blasts off and then get away before he was really in so much danger. So he skipped Siphon. He doesn't bother with Spotter. He just focused all on this side blast and actually move speed.
What ship did they lose?
They lost the battlecruiser.
Battlecruiser. They have no scan anymore. Lost the tower. No. Not only Silver Wolf was on 2-shot before, now he's even further behind.
But I mean, in that situation, it's like, I mean, whose fault was Alpha's death there? I don't feel like you can say, oh, it was definitely someone in particular's fault. It was just that
they got outplayed, yes. Oh, and now the Raven.
Yeah, and then now tentacles happen.
Yeah, that is, you never forget that there is a Leviathan if you're playing Raven. You must never forget. That's yes. I see, especially in pubs, I often see Ravens flying around, coming too close to the Leviathan and then just dying because they underestimate that he can kill you in like 20 seconds. I think only the Overlord, not Overlord, only the Void Ray can kill a Raven faster than the Levy. You can defense matrix yourself.
This was not actually a 6-0 game. They did get Sarah down. So at least they got their consolation prize of a dead Sarah.
There wasn't really sad about it.
So yeah, what's your final word on this game?
It was a nice game. They weren't completely pushed in, but they were losing farm over the whole course of the game, and they never really managed to push the enemy team back. Was the Leviathan made the mistake of not really countering the Destro, and I don't know why the other Leviathan seemed to have lost against Loco. I think it was because they got pushed early on. The first 5 minutes they made that mistake that the top Levy didn't really counter his own destroyer, so he could just move in and help in the middle to push, and after that they had the farm advantage and they could really just play on, and that advantage would become bigger and bigger. It would just snowball, like you say.
But still, I mean, considering they had lost their captain randomly before this final matchup, considering Delta 9 had not played with this team before pretty much at all, they held it together pretty well for 24 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it was still a close game until Alpha died. Yeah, I mean, they were down on farm, but they were not down more than just 300 or 400, which you can recover from if the game goes long enough.